go ahead and introduce yourself?
What's going on, Richy Slims? Born in Atlanta, raised in Milwaukee.
Okay. So tell us a little bit about how you got started.
Well, got a producer friend named Mello. He make a lot of the beats in the city or whatever. And I want to say back 2012, I was rapping for real, like real serious or whatever. I kept buying beats from him, kept buying beats from him. He was like, man, you might as well learn how to make beats. So I just end up getting it from him. He pulled up on me one day. I gave him some cheese. He gave me FL Studio, plenty drums, and yeah, I got started from there.
Okay, so are you like trained in any other instruments, or you just kind of got started from like a production standpoint?
I took piano lessons like fifth and sixth grade. Then I stopped. I forgot all of what I learned. And
Hey,
then
that's how that should go.
I got back into it, and then I learned a little bit of what I learned, but I don't got it all back yet.
So, like with that kind of being said, so like when you were in piano, so you learned how to read music.
Yeah.
Okay, so how is it kind of like the transition from reading music into like working in like a digital system for you?
Well, it's all about rhythm as far as beats. To be honest, I mean the melodies could take you places, but it's all about how you could get a club moving, how you could get people moving. It's all about the drums. That's the heart of it for real.
I feel you. Okay, so coming from like Atlanta, which is kind of like the hub of music currently, and it has been like historically.
Yeah.
So like coming from there into like a city where like Milwaukee, where there is a music scene, it's not as established or it's not as I don't want to disrespect it and say it's not as profound or something like that,
Yeah.
but it's not up to the level that Atlanta is. What does that feel like for you?
Well, with Atlanta or whatever, like I'll go there summers, and then some years I'll stay for the whole school year. So I'm getting the flavor of what's going on there, and then I'm trying to adapt it to Milwaukee too. So I'm trying to blend both sounds together at the same time. So that's the balance of that for real.
I feel you.
Yeah.
So then when you kind of like hear people talking about the Milwaukee scene, how there's kind of like that negative stigma of like people not being able to work together and like trying to hold each other back and that kind of like that toxic sense of like competition. What do you think about?
Well, I feel like it's the different sides of Milwaukee. So I would say like the slap scene or whatever, they work together. Then it's like they saw it the east side, they work together. So it all depends on what side of Milwaukee, because it's segregated like they
Right,
say.
right. I feel you.
Yeah.
And I'm from here too, so like I get that from both sides, and it's crazy because like even when I go to other cities and I like speak to people about like their music scene, like they'll say the same thing.
Yeah.
So it's like it's really from growing up here and hearing people say it all the time here, and then going places where like it's existing as well. It's kind of like y'all finna have to get over this bullshit. Like we ain't gonna get nowhere. Like sitting here complaining about this shit. So, what do you think we kind of need to take like our next step as a scene?
Consistency. Consistency is key. When you look at people from different other cities and stuff like that, they're consistent. They're dropping all the time. They're just staying out of trouble, to be honest, too. Because a lot of the rappers here, as soon as they start blowing, getting 100K, 500K a video and stuff, boom, they get locked up. It's just they gotta be more strategic out here too.
I feel you.
Consistency.
Yeah. So like when you kind of think about that, as far as like people helping people to stay out of trouble, like what do you think we need to do in order to do that? Is it kind of like something that's like glorified, you feel like, or is it just kind of something that happens?
They just need to stay in the studio. To be honest, tell you the truth, it's hard to say that because certain people addicted to a certain lifestyle, and that's the way they know how to make money. That's the way they know how to do it. So it's hard to get them out of that. So
yeah, and one thing I think like one thing you hear about a lot is like they don't. Nobody wants to do that, you know what I'm saying? But like if that's your like means, like you gonna do what you got to do. And I personally feel like our next step as far as like keeping people away from that is providing another opportunity for them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like you said, if that's the only way that's the only way you gonna go to. So providing that like outlet for them to put that energy elsewhere.
Exactly.
So like when we talk about like the music scene, like you said, there's like the East Side and like the slap music and like that kind of thing. So what do you say you personally provide that like separates you from everybody else?
I do every type of style under the sun. Like I could do an R&B track with Meraki one day. Then I could go to the slap scene and do something with Chicken. Then I'm when
Name
LBN
dropping.
one like
Name dropping.
man. But yeah, like I could switch it up like all type of different ways. That's what I bring. Like my favorite producer for real. Like and then you see
Oh
him.
yeah.
He worked with all different artists. The Timberlands, like they work with all different artists and stuff.
You have to. You have to.
Got
Not even just for like the scene's purpose. It's just like that creative bug, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Being able to go from both sides. So kind of take us through kind of like the creative process. Like you said, you do work with like a wide variety of people, you know what I'm saying? So take us through the creative process for you working on a project or working on a song.
I like to do melodies first, cause then it's gonna tell me what I want to do with the track. But sometimes I like to switch it up and do the drums first, cause then I might want to okay, I'm trying to figure out the bounce, what I want to do with the bounce.
Right.
So it all depends on how I'm feeling that day.
Okay.
Yeah.
So say like Meraki comes to you and she wants like a real soulful beat. Like where are you gonna start?
Melody,
Melody.
off top, melody, off top.
That's what's up. And like she's how I kind of got introduced to like lean beats.
Yeah.
That's one of the producers that I work with.
Yeah.
Like I saw her perform, and then like after seeing her perform and checked out some of her stuff. So like when people kind of contact you based off of strength, you know what I'm saying? Like I heard so and so on a project that you were working on. How does your creative process stay the same, or does it make you want to like remake kind of what they heard?
See, I like to give different artists their own sound with me.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I like to do. Like, say a Chicken. I know he like evil beats. Like that's what he sound the best on. Like evil sounding like creepy beats. So that's what I'll aim for with him. And then like, Shine Millions, my guy Shine Millions. Like he like backpack type of raps. He like just stuff to get you moving and stuff like that.
Right.
Good,
Okay.
good feel to it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So then, like with that being said, I know you named a couple people, but name some of your like favorite artists to work with. Then.
Um, Shine Millions, Meraki, LBN One Way. Let me see. There's so many people. Uh, huh. I don't know. Whoever like to work with me, that's who I work with.
I feel you. Okay.
Yep.
Well, talk about kind of some of your dream artists to work with. Like, what's your long term goal? Like, if there's a couple artists you could work with, who would you work with?
One of them I worked with last year, Mozzie. I was too happy about that one. Mozzie, that's my favorite rapper, like the new generation.
Right.
Mozzie, probably Nipsey.
Nipsey would be wild.
Atlanta artist 21 Savage stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Yeah.
Seeing as you are from Atlanta, I'm sure you've heard like was it an interview? I'm trying to remember exactly what it was. It was like an interview or like they might have been on like a radio station, but like Lil Baby and Gunna was talking about how they the best ones out of Atlanta ever. So like so when you hear like shit like that, what do you think?
They could be. Y'all say that they could be, but to me it's like it's the Gucci's, the Jeezys, and Scooters, Future. That's when I think about Atlanta. That's what I think about right there.
Yeah. So like when I first heard it, I'm like, damn. Like I thought back to like my first interest in music being like Outkast. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
so I'm like, damn, y'all already claiming y'all better than Outkast. It's no knock to them. They had a hot ass 2018, but it's like, damn, y'all can't just you can't just brush back.
Gotta put in way more work. They could do it though. Gotta put in way more work though.
So you said working with Mozzie, as far as like that being like one of your favorite artists right now, getting that opportunity, like how did that feel?
That felt good, cause the way that happened was, I called SOB and RBE early, Young T.O. I had got his email last year, and then so boom, I sent him probably like a 5-pack of beats or whatever. He picked that one. It was a Tupac sample, He picked that one. He was like, "Hey, bro, I need this one." Woo.
Right.
So I'm like, "Bet." And then I didn't hear it till like months later. He put it out. It's 500K or something like that right now. I didn't hear about it till way later, like 5 months down the line or whatever. He hit me back like, "Hear the track, ooh." And then I see Mozzie on it too. I'm, oh my god, what?
So the song was like made and like they just kind of dropped it, and you just kind of picked it up off of like just searching,
just looking at the page, like, cause I'm subscribed to that YouTube or whatever.
Okay.
So I just looked at the page and wow, okay. So,
so then like what kind of like change did you see from that point till now?
I seen more people coming in off of that. Yep. Like more West Coast artists started hitting me up.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. So like when you think back to like when you first got started, like your progress from that point till now, what's the biggest change or the biggest difference in your work?
I kind of got more musical because I ain't see that much money from that because of the fact it was a sample or whatever in there. So I had told myself I gotta get more musical so I could get most of the money from it. Cause you know when you do a sample or whatever,
you gotta do
cut
splits.
You gotta do the splits.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So when you say you like get more musical, so like you're gonna start putting more like instruments and instrumentation in it, like personal for yourself.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when you kind of like take us behind like the scenes on that, as far as like doing splits and stuff. Like, so where do you go to get things cleared?
BMI, ASCAP. You do the splits through there.
Okay. So you kind of just go in and say, I use this, and they like personally reach out and then do all that. Okay. Yeah. So like, I know that's like one of the biggest things that like a lot of younger producers and younger artists period are running into. Like we just seen Juice WRLD and the whole Sting situation or like the chick, and I'm dumb as hell. I'm blanking right now. The chick that the City Girls got they beat from, she spazzed out. Even though they went through the correct outlets, you know what I'm saying? They paid everybody that they needed to pay, and she still acted the fuck up. So like, what's kind of your advice to like younger artists and like producers and staying out of trouble that way?
Just make original beats and try to do it the right way. Like there's ways around certain stuff, like only sample a certain amount of time and make sure you pitch it down or pitch it up, or you know what I'm saying? Like there's different ways.
So like sampling it, you said sample it a certain amount of times, so like the shorter, the less you got to split, and like if it's a different, if you pitch it up, pitch it down, it's gonna be different. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So then, kind of like along that same lines, what kind of like advice or tips would you give to like a new producer getting started?
Let me see. There's nothing wrong with going with another producer sound, because once you keep doing that, you gonna find your own sound in that. Like if you look at Pharrell, he gets his sound from Quincy Jones and Stevie Wonder. Like he gets his sound from them. That's what the Neptune sound came from.
So like the ground floor of his sound.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he just made his own sound out of that. Like that's what I learned. Like there's nothing wrong with studying a producer and using a sound or whatever, because once you keep doing it, you gonna make your own sound out of that.
Right.
So
Okay.
nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. So that's along the lines of like music production. What kind of advice would you give them as far as getting placements and like linking up with people?
You gotta catch people early. That's my main thing on it. You gotta catch people early.
Mm-hmm.
Like SOB and RB, I caught them early. Now, if I would have tried to do that when they get on the Black Panther soundtrack and stuff they did, it would have been. It's alright. It's not going down. Like I caught them super early, so you just gotta have your eyes and ears open and ready to see what's going on.
So when you're like kind of like looking out for that, what are you looking for as far as like when you say find them early? What are you looking for?
Nothing specific. Just this. You gotta see it in them though. Like okay, yep, they could blow.
Is there like a number of views or like a number of listens that they should have that you're kind of like looking at, or is it just kind of like a sound you hear and like that they might not have a huge following just yet, but you still like the sound?
I think it's both the views and do they have star power too? Like, cause I see the rapper Lil Keed from Atlanta. Like he bubbling right now. I see the star power in him.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you was to catch him right now, like a producer right now, you good. You'll grab him right now, cause he on the way to be the gunner, the little baby right now. Right. So you gotta
Okay.
just catch them
So
early.
it's kind of like catching them in that like little pocket where they're like they're bubbling, but like you still like could help direct, like their path and everything.
Yeah.
That's what's up. That's what's up. All right. Okay. So I guess like taking it back to the beginning, and like, how did you get like your name?
Richy Slims. Okay, so my name comes from Biggie Smalls. Cause back when I used to rap or whatever, I used to rap like lyrical or whatever. So my friend Brianna, she gave me that name, Richy Slims, like it's a play off Biggie Smalls.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. Good. All right. So then, would you say like as far as like your biggest musical influences? I know you said Pharrell is a big one. Is Biggie like another one?
See, the messed up part, I'm more of a Tupac fan than a Biggie fan. So that's
Hey,
the
you
crazy
could be
part.
both. You
can
could be both.
Definitely can. Definitely can.
You could be both.
Yeah.
So then, like, kind of throw out some of the, some other like musical influences you have. Like, I know you said working with Mello and then Pharrell, Tupac.
Producers, rappers,
All.
Southside,
Oh yeah.
Cardo, Boy Wonder. Let me see. It's so many. Like,
Southside is Atlanta too, right?
yeah.
So like, were you kind of like around when he was starting to blow up as far as like production?
Yep, cause I watch his videos on YouTube back when he was working with Waka Flocka, like 2011, 2010, and then you see the progression. Like they working on a broke laptop, keys off of it, all type of stuff. They on the tour bus, and he just figuring it out, just making his way. Now you see him chains and all that. You know what I'm saying?
So when you kind of like see stories like that, does that motivate you to like, even though shit might be rough now or it might not be exactly where you want to be, but you like see like progression in other artists like that? Does that make you keep going?
Definitely, man.
What other kind of like stories or like inspiration do you find that keeps you like pushing?
Metro Boomin. Like I heard, like nobody liked his beats. Nobody liked his beats back in like 2010, 2011. Nobody liked them. Then out of nowhere, he's get to working with Future and everybody else in Atlanta, and then he just blew up. He took off. So to hear people didn't like Metro beats, it just blew my mind. Like what?
It's like y'all fucked up. Y'all done fucked up.
Yeah.
All right. Well, go ahead and give your shout outs.
Shout out Mello, Richie with the hits. Who else? Ferrari, Ayo, Gorgees. All my producer guys. If I'm leaving somebody out, don't kill me.
All right, and read off your social media for them so they know where to go find you.
Twitter at Richy Slims, Instagram 414_Richy Slims, and Facebook Richy Slims. Gang, Richy Slims. Get me on all my socials. Hey.